everybody, and welcome to AMC Mailbag, the all-mailbag show here on AMC Movie News, where all we do is take your questions. I'm Ashley Mova, and if you've got a question that you want answered on air, send it over anytime to amcmovietalk@gmail.com. And sitting with me to answer some of those questions is the editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News, John Campea. John, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm ready to do this AMC Mailbag show that's just the same as any other AMC Mailbag show. Nothing different or unique about this episode.
All right. The first question comes from Ronny Chea, and they write, leaked pictures of the Suicide Squad reveal that Batman is in the movie. Since a Batman solo movie is not slated in the near future, could they just cameo Ben Affleck in the upcoming DC movies with the other superheroes?
You know what? At first sight, this is one of those questions where you'd think, what a ridiculous question. What a fool you are to even ask that. But you know what? It ain't so foolish. That very well could be their strategy. That, you know, we got Ben Affleck as Batman, and we don't need to make solo Batman films to have successful films. Batman is Batman. If we put Batman in Suicide Squad, a lot of the general public may look at Suicide Squad and go, yeah, I've never even heard of these guys. This is probably never even heard of, whatever, going to take a pass. But then you put on the poster this big Batman in the poster and put Batman in the trailers. Guess what? People are going to go out and watch Suicide Squad. You have Aquaman, the guy who talks to fish. Guess what? Put Batman on that poster with Aquaman. People go out to see it. Do the same thing to the end of these other characters. It is strange that think about it. It's strange that they have not announced any release for a standalone Batman film. Now, look, I still believe in the more traditional, safe way of thinking on this. I believe Warner Brothers and DC will announce a release slate for standalone Batflick films, where we're with Ben Affleck as Batman. I believe it's going to happen. But the longer it goes that they don't, and we start hearing announcements about Aquaman, we start hearing announcements about Wonder Woman, we start hearing announcements about all these other films, and we see the role he's going to be playing in Suicide Squad, it's not that far-fetched of an idea. Remember, I don't necessarily believe this was going to happen, but it's not that far-fetched of an idea to think their strategy is to use Batman, who is the crown jewel in everything they've got right now, to bolster and bump up all these other films. Instead, that might be their plan. I don't think it's their plan. I think Warner Brothers will announce release of Batman films soon enough, but it's not an outrageous theory.
Did you see the pictures?
I did see the pictures.
They were sick.
He looks so badass.
Yeah, he
really
looks
does. Big and beastly and terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's on my roof, cutting through my roof. I'm a little bit freaked out. I mean, he's looking so very, very good, and it's really kind of funny that everybody remembers the big collective moan everybody had when they announced Ben Affleck as Batman. Everybody except me and Schnepp. Me and Schnepp were like, no, this is good casting. But like, everybody in the world is like, oh, the sky is falling. And look, who knows? Ben Affleck might suck as Batman. It still might happen. Make no mistake about it. But I've always thought that he was a great choice. And the more and more people are seeing now, you don't hear everybody complaining anymore. I think more and more people have been remembering, you know what? We did lose our minds when Heath Ledger was cast as Joker, and we shouldn't have. We did lose our minds when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, and we shouldn't have. We did lose our minds when Hugh Jackman was cast as Wolverine, and we shouldn't have. Well, let's take a step back and take a breath, and let's see how this turns out. Because Ben Affleck has proved that he is a very good actor. The last film that he was the lead actor in, notwithstanding, what was just one he just did with his wife? The one where his wife went missing.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. Thank you. I was going to say Suicide Girl, but that's a crossing up the different movies. The one for that Argo, he's the lead actor in that, led it to win Best Picture at the Oscars. So, I mean, he is a solid, legit, very, very good actor. And I think it's in safe hands.
All right. Jamari Saint Cyr writes, I love watching your show. I just wanted to know, since throughout the years, there have been various Superman films and reboots, and I wanted to know, which Superman movie do you prefer? The original 1978 film Superman Returns or the present series Man of Steel?
I'm going to say something that's going to be completely unpopular.
I know. I know where you're going. Yep.
Man of Steel is the best Superman movie we've ever had. And that is all due respect to how glorious and awesome Superman 2 was with General Zod. But, I go back and watch that film now, and there are so many strange things in, like, for even Superman 2, which is amazing, right? But the whole saran wrap off his chest and like a lot of and suddenly they just made up a bunch of superpowers that Superman never had. And, it's very weird. So whatever, you're not going to hear me argue against somebody who says to me, Superman 2 is the best Superman movie we've ever had. I'm not going to argue against that person because there's very, very good reasons to believe that. Absolutely. I'm just saying, for me and my money, I believe Man of Steel is a genius film. Mm-hmm. I think the more I watch Man of Steel, the more and more I appreciate it. I think it's a truly great film. And so to me, Man of Steel is my favorite Superman. I think it's the best one we've had.
I saw a few interviews with Henry Cavill saying Batman v Superman is not a Man of Steel sequel. Do you think this was kind of their way of doing a sequel, but not really doing a sequel? Kind of killing two birds with one stone, I guess?
No, I think the way they're approaching it is like Avengers was not Iron Man 3. It was, Iron Man was in it, but it was not Iron Man 3. Avengers was not a sequel to Iron Man. It's a part of the Iron Man story. It's a part of this grander universe. And I think DC is looking at, Batman versus Superman the same way. Batman versus Superman is not a Man of Steel sequel. It's a continuation of Superman's story, sure, in this world, but we will get a Man of Steel too. Much like Batman, it is kind of weird by its absence right now. There is no announcement for Man of Steel 2, but we know that it's coming. It's going to come. They're going to do it. But, Batman v Superman is not Batman hijacking Superman's sequel. It's not Superman's sequel. Man of Steel will get a sequel. But just like I said before, as the Avengers is not Iron Man 3, this is not Man of Steel 2, and everything will be just fine.
All right, Peter O'Hara writes, my question is about the actress Alison Lohman. Growing up, I'd see her in supporting roles in small films, thinking she was one of the most beautiful actresses in Hollywood. Then I was delighted when she got cast in the lead role in Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. But she didn't go on to bigger and better things. In fact, she didn't go on to do anything because she hasn't made a film since and has completely dropped off the radar. I feel it's a shame as she was someone with so much potential, but for some reason got lost along the way. My question is, do you know the reason for her mysterious departure from film? And if not, do you have any speculations as to where she has gone? Dun, dun,
I might have some speculations. Let me tell you a little bit. This is funny that this actually question came in, and she's beautiful, isn't she? Yeah. So she did this little film with Gerard Butler called Gamer. And the reason I'm very familiar with that film is because two friends of mine, Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, wrote and directed Gamer. And Mark and Brian, I threw a party for them, and it's a long story, and I won't go into it all right now. But Mark, Brian, and Milo Ventimiglia are the ones who are responsible for me meeting my wife, for me meeting Anne. Actually, I think Mark is the one. I think Mark Neveldine of Neveldine and Taylor. I think Mark Neveldine is actually the one who introduced me to Anne at the party that we were at, and the rest is history. Anne and I have been together ever since. So that's that. So anyway, Mark and Brian go on to write and direct this movie called Gamer, and Alison Lohman was in that movie. And for some strange reason, she lost her common sense and ended up marrying my buddy Mark. So she got married to Mark. And then shortly after that, Mark was telling me that it's been a while. Like Mark and Alison moved to New York out of LA. And so I haven't actually seen or spoken to Mark in quite a long time. But it was shortly after that Mark told me, Alison is actually retiring from acting. She's done with it. She doesn't want to do it anymore. And so Alison retired. Her and Mark got married. They moved out to New York. I believe they had a kid. So not a lot of speculation there. Actually, that's what happened. So after those films were done, she stepped away from acting. I don't know if she'll come back. But and Mark's got a new movie coming out. I believe it's called the Vatican Tapes. A little horror movie coming out. Did you see the trailer for it? That's Mark's movie. So he's got a new movie coming out. So that is what happened to Alison.
I'm really excited to see that. And
me too.
I read that she had a baby, and it kind of clicked in my mind about a while ago. I think it was maybe I don't know. It was a while ago on Movie Talk. We had a question in our mailbag section about Scarlett Johansson being pregnant and how that's going to affect the scheduling for Avengers Age of Ultron. Kind of looking back, I mean, I saw the movie. I could not tell that she's pregnant at all. Do you think it affected scheduling or anything like that?
For Avengers?
Yeah.
Well, no, it did affect scheduling. I know that it affected scheduling, but that's what these guys do. I mean, they have line producers who will work with scheduling, and they are masters at it. They know when they can shoot what and get the most use out of their time from everybody involved. And that's why, on Movie Talk, whether it was Christian or myself or Dennis or Amy Rose or whatever, said, look, yes, this will affect the shooting schedule. They will have to work around it, but they will work around it. And when it's all said and done, these magicians will find a way to make it so you would never even know. And sure enough, there's no way you go into that movie and think, oh yeah, this girl was pregnant for the entire production.
I even
of this
forgot,
movie.
while I was watching it, I completely had forgotten that she was pregnant.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
Banging. All right. Christy Ballisti writes, as I was listening to one of your recent episodes mentioning Eddie Redmayne joining the Harry Potter universe, you talked about how some of you wanted Michael Keaton to win the Oscar for Best Actor last year, as opposed to Redmayne. Someone then mentioned how Birdman was much more of an ensemble piece, and that might have swayed the votes from Keaton a bit. That got me thinking, do you think it would be cool to have an ensemble cast category for the Oscars?
You know what? Here's the funny thing. Somebody asked on Movie Talk a few weeks ago, if you got to add a category to the Oscars right now, what would it be? And I said, I really can't think of one that I think, a lot of people think there should be a stuntman Academy Award, and I'm not for that. Not because the work the stuntmen do isn't great, but it's not something the audience has recognized, and it's not used in enough movies, I think. Some people say, voiceover acting. I'm not for that either. Not that I'm against them either, and I said, I can't really think of one. You just got one. Okay. Best ensemble cast. I actually really do. Because, aside from individual performances, one of the things that can really make a movie click is the chemistry between the talent on camera. Is not just how well does actor A do, but how well do actor A, actor B, and actress C able to play off each other to enhance each other's performances and make an overall viewing experience, right? We talked about how Lord of the Rings Return of the King, it won the record for most Academy Awards ever in one year is 11. Lord of the Rings Return of the King. I think it shares it with another film, but Lord of the Rings Return of the King is in that record position of 11 wins. It was nominated for 11 Oscars and it swept. It won every single category it was nominated for, but no acting awards. Won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Score, Best Visual Effects, Best Cinematography, Best this, Best that, Best the other thing, and none of the actors were nominated for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor or Best Supporting Actress. And one of the things that really came out of that was everybody involved with Lord of the Rings said, well, it really was an ensemble film. Nobody really led that film. It was like the work of all the actors working together and moving this story forward. And if there was ever a case for best ensemble, where the whole cast just worked together so well, that would have been the 12th Oscar for Lord of the Rings. Or you look even just this past year, that ensemble for Birdman. Every single actor, including Zach Galifianakis, they were just all so not only incredible in their own right, but the way they played off each other made each other's characters seem real. I can be on screen by myself and performing a certain way, it seems real. But if I suddenly get around Jonathan and Ashley and they're acting as if they're in a little bit of a different reality, then all of a sudden my performance cannot look so good. But when you can get three actors that can enhance each other's performance instead, that is great. And that's why I love this email. I think the idea of a best ensemble performance, it's what they do at the SAG Awards, the Screen Actor Guild.
Right.
Their big award, their version of Best Picture at the Screen Actor Guild Awards is Best Ensemble Cast. And I do believe that I think that would be a great one to add to the Academy Awards. Really, I'm totally on board for it.
If that happened, who I'd feel bad for, though?
Who's that?
The casting director. Because, what about Best Casting Director?
Yeah.
The ensemble's so fabulous because they put that together.
You know what? And John Schnepp, I actually think if an award... how Best Picture wins, the producer goes up and accepts. I think, if Best Ensemble wins, I think the actors go up on too, but I think the casting director, because you're not the only one to mention the casting director. John Schnepp has been saying for a long time that he believes casting should be an Academy Award because it really is a gift.
Oh yeah.
To know and figure out, to look at the page and see what this movie is portraying and talking about, working with the director and being able to visualize who can bring this to life. It's a great gift. It's a great skill. And while I'm not necessarily with Schnepp about, that needs to be category, I'm not against it either. So that would be an interesting one.
All right. Coldzimmerman writes, "Hey everyone, love the show. My question regards the pre-recorded shows. Early on in phase 3, John said after a few weeks when you worked out all the kinks, you'd go live again. Well, it has been a few months after the successful transition into phase 3. Why are you still not live? Thanks and keep up the good work."
Yeah. So here's all the true behind the scenes nitty gritty about this. We moved into this incredible space here for our offices and our studio that we've got set up here. But there was something very interesting about this one particular, and look, we're not in the sticks, folks. We are in the middle of downtown Burbank. I mean, we are in Burbank, California, right across the street from the AMC Burbank 16, blah, blah.
So come stalk us.
Stalk us. There's no internet that runs into this building. Like no internet that runs into this building. And it's like when we talk to the service providers, they're like, oh yeah, we don't run any existing cabling in there. It's seriously, I had one company tell us, it'll cost $35,000 for us to run the cabling into the building. And then, it was going to cost you $1,200 a month to have internet speeds that are the same as that I have at home that I pay $25 a month for. Wow. I mean, so it was just so cost prohibitive. So what happened was, and this is the truth, this is like the real behind the scenes nitty gritty here. Like Dennis and I'd be like, well, what the F are we going to do? And what we did was we had these clear spot little 4G hotspot boxes, but those are not good enough. Those ones are barely good enough for even surfing the web, let alone you can't live stream. If you're going to live stream, we are uploading HD streaming video live. You need a solid, reliable, fast connection to do that. And we just didn't have anything that could do it. We experimented with one or two other things. I kid you not. Right now, the fastest connection in this office is my Galaxy Note 4. I turn on the Wi-Fi hotspot on it, and it is the fastest connection we have. And when we're done editing the show, like when I edit, sometimes I edit the shows, sometimes Dennis edits the shows. When I edit a show and I'm done, I go over and turn on the hotspot on my 4G phone because it's the fastest way for me to upload a video. Now, so we have gone through weeks and weeks and weeks into months of experimenting with different things to try to get a solution that works. We think we have found a solution that works. Just recently, we think we found a solution that works, and we want to put it through its paces for a number of weeks to see if it is. Now, ultimately, the decision on when we go live again, that will be Dennis's decision because I'm not going to be here by then. But that'll be Dennis's decision as the production manager and as the guy who should be the new editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News. Well, I'll get into that later. But that'll be his decision and AMC's decision, not mine. So hopefully it's still coming. But like I said, we got to make sure that the technical aspects of it all work out. We just ended up in this amazing space that it just so happened didn't happen to have internet running into it.
That's crazy.
It is nuts. It was like 1 in 1,000 chance that happened.
I had no idea about that. Wow.
It was nuts.
All right, Chris Cook writes, straight to it. My question is, do you think Captain America and Black Widow will have a stronger connection in Civil War where it becomes a love interest? I realize she likes the Hulk, but in the comics, Cap and Widow were in love.
Yeah, well, a lot of things happen in the comics that they don't, like a million things happen in the comics that they're not doing in the movies. No. I mean, what we saw in Captain America Winter Soldier was like a real, we saw a lot of bonding between Captain America and Widow. And, they're tight. I mean, they're real tight, but they're comrades. They're comrades. There's not a romantic thing there. At least I don't get that at all. And I think they cleared any speculation that up in Avengers Age of Ultron. This is a minor spoiler if you haven't seen it, but in that conversation early in the film between Banner and Captain America, and Banner's like, you and Romanoff, that's a good thing. When he's saying that to Dr. Banner, it's like, me and her, no, we're nothing. Like that, but what's you two are good, right? So, I mean, the sense I got from Winter Soldier was that they were just bonding and were just really good, strong comrades. I don't think they're going to go romantic with it. I don't think they're going to have Scarlet Witch starting to go around, have a relationship with everybody in the Avengers. I think she's in love with Ruffalo's character, I should say, with Dr. Banner. I think they have plans for that connection between them moving forward. I don't know what those plans are yet. They're not done with that. And look, just because she's a girl in a movie, that doesn't mean she has to have a love interest. So
come on, guys, get with the times.
So, and Captain America don't need no. And besides, I think they're setting up Captain America to have a love interest with, what's her name? Agent.
Oh, are you
Carter's daughter?
Yeah.
It's,
with the girl's granddaughter.
Right.
In the comics, it's her granddaughter. But Agent 33, I can't remember.
I loved him with Peggy, like in Winter Soldier. I loved, I think I cried with her. Super, I don't know, spoiler, because if you haven't seen it, then you're just not going to see it. When she was on the hospital bed, I literally cried.
I know. I thought they should have made a bigger deal out of that scene. I thought that scene was like, hey, Captain America, and then he's in her hospital room and just chatting. I thought, are you kidding? This is a momentous occasion. I thought they underplayed it. If I have any minor little quibbles with Winter Soldier, which is a brilliant movie, that would be one of my little
I read
quibbles.
some rumors that she was going to be in Civil War. Do you think that that's true?
I do, and I know that her character plays a part in Civil War.
Okay. Luke Robinson writes, hey, AMC, thank you for creating the best damn movie talk show on the planet. My question is, from reading a lot of Marvel comics and a lot of Avengers comics, were you surprised when the MCU decided to choose Scott Lang as their Ant-Man instead of Hank Pym, considering how much effect Hank Pym has on comic book history and how many stories he influences? He is the original creator / father of Ultron.
Yeah. Was I surprised? Yeah, mildly. I was mildly surprised that they didn't go with Hank Pym. If you'd asked me to put money on it, I would have said, they'll do Hank Pym. Mm-hmm. But this isn't like a Bruce Wayne Batman situation. This isn't like a Peter Parker is Spider-Man situation. This isn't like Ant-Man is not a wildly popular character where the average person on the street, you ask the average person on the street, who's Spider-Man? They say Peter Parker. You ask them, who's Batman? They say Bruce Wayne. You ask the average person on the street, who's Ant-Man? I don't know. Nobody knows. So except for the people who, the 1% of us that actually read the comic books. So I was surprised. But then, we talked about we alluded to this on AMC Movie Talk, I think a couple of weeks ago, that by having Hank Pym being played by Michael Douglas, being the older guy now, what this does is it opens up some possibilities of some storytelling, some history storytelling of maybe a relationship between a young Hank Pym and a young Howard Stark, Tony Stark's dad. Maybe they can go back a bit where maybe Hank Pym played a pivotal role also in the creation of S.H.I.E.L.D. or other things like that. And maybe he developed technology 30 years ago that became the basis for Tony developing and creating Ultron. And for those of you who don't understand, in the comic books, in the movie, we see that Tony Stark creates Ultron. Actually, in the comic books, Ant-Man Hank Pym creates Ultron. So they decided to go with Scott Lang. And I think the reason they did was to give us, and I'm just speculating here, I'm not basing this on anything, okay? So this is pure speculation. But I think the reason they did it is to create some potential storytelling opportunities for the past with Hank Pym. And, Ant-Man, I just got my invitation to go see Ant-Man, so I'm going to see it here pretty soon. And once I do, I'll know how right or how dead wrong I am with that theory. But once that comes, then we'll have a better picture.
How do you think the box office is going to do? Kind of with the two sides being Ant-Man's not so much a well-known character, but at the same time, comic book movies are really hot right now. So how do you think the box office is going to be?
It's funny. We were talking about that in the office today, and Mark Ellis and I were chatting. I think Jonathan was in that conversation too. I think it will do very well for a movie. I think for a movie, it'll do very well. I don't think it'll do really well for a Marvel film. Mm-hmm. I'm just guessing, pure speculation. I'm pulling this number out of my ass. 65 million opening weekend. Now, I think Ellis, he was guessing 75 to 80 million. I think I heard Jonathan say that was tracking at about 58. So it's all over the place. So my guess right now is 65 million. I think that'll be a decent number for them. For most films would kill to have a $65 million opening weekend. So that's where I think it'll come in, and watch, I'll be $150 million off.
All right, betting man. Adam H. writes, what has AMC Movie Talk and its fan base meant to you?
Well, going into these last two questions, I should let you know where these came from. You know, we were putting together these questions, and I didn't mention it at the beginning of the show. This is my final AMC mailbag show. And we were putting together some questions, and I went on, as I realized, you know, we only got room for one more question. I said, you know, instead of me, I went on my Facebook page, said, hey guys, we're trying to find the last question to ask on mailbag. So write out your questions in here right now, and whichever question gets the most likes will get on. And there were, one got the most likes, and the other I just thought was a really great question that we should address. So, and we took two of them instead of one. Yeah. So this is the first one. Adam Lavik, what is AMC Movie Talk and its fan base meant to you? AMC Movie Talk itself, and we were talking like this because I'm still actually going to be around AMC Movie News for another week or two, but this is my last mailbag. AMC Movie Talk is a vision and a dream I had for this right from the first day that AMC reached out to me and asked me to come and put something together for them years ago. And it is the culmination, where we're at right now, is the culmination of everything that, starting with me, I had dreamed about and envisioned about. And then as the team built around me, you know, Dennis and Amy Rose and stuff like that, and Justin, that we collectively would dream and talk about and say, imagine when we can get here. Imagine. I still remember I was vacationing in Las Vegas, which I do a lot. Mm-hmm. I was in Las Vegas when our YouTube channel hit 5,000 subscribers. And I was so thrilled. At the time, it was Roth Cornett was with us, who was our, like kind of my right hand before Amy Rose, and Dennis. And I remember it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got back to my room in Vegas. It's like, hey, we hit 5,000. And I emailed everybody. It's like, holy crap, guys, we hit 5,000. Now we're about to hit 300,000. And it was just, and then just seeing where we've gone from all working at home to working in a converted storage closet at AMC Burbank 16, to then going and recording at our friends over at the Stream.tv studios in Hollywood, and then ultimately phase 3 into our own studio. And it has just been an amazing thing being able to dream out something and then step by step seeing it happen with the best people around you doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's like the most incredible feeling when you get to do that, and you get to do it with incredibly talented people that you just love working with. And it has just been awesome. So it has just meant so much to me, AMC Movie News. What are the fans meant to me? The notion that we have fans is still a strange one to me. We are fans who have fans. It's still really weird. And it's like, it's a daily occurrence now. And, you know, in Burbank or movie theaters around or wherever we go, we have people coming up to us in the streets and stopping us now. And and that's the most awesome thing in the world. I get a huge kick out of that, but it still feels really strange. Like, why the F do you want to talk to me? But where it really began to turn for me, I remember about a year ago, we got this, we started getting these emails from people saying, I was in the hospital last year and I was in there for like 2 weeks, and listening to AMC Movie Talk every day helped get me through that. And that was awesome. And we started getting emails like that. It's like, and I remember Dennis and I were talking, it's like, this, you know, we're just talking movies and having fun and everybody all like, but this is actually, to some people, this is important too, you know? And then I remember it was about a year ago. Do you guys remember this? We got that email from the guy who had the superhero daughter.
Right.
He had the little girl who was going through chemo. She had cancer and she was going through treatment, and she had her beautiful little shaved head. And her dad sent us this picture of her and her sisters. And the email talked about, I'm going to hold this together. The email talked about, what listening to our show, and it's something that he did with his daughter, and they would watch our show, and just about what our show meant to him and his family, helping them get through this stuff. And I just remember I went home and I cried. Not because, partially because I was just brokenhearted that this beautiful angel of a little girl was sick, but also the notion that this incredible family allowed us the privilege of being a part of their lives. That was insane. And we started getting more messages like that. And then a couple of weeks ago, I got this one email from this guy, and I told you guys the story in our staff meeting, and I nearly totally broke down. And I'm going to try not to do that here. But I got this one email from this guy whose nephew was dying, and there was nothing they could do. And he told me the story about how he and his family, they would all like sit around, and they wouldn't be mopey. They would sit around and be with the kid, his nephew, his brother's son. And there are days that they would just watch AMC movie news because his son loved comic book movies, and they would watch our AMC stuff. And I remember thinking, who are we that we get to do stuff like this, and you guys would let us have the privilege of being a part of your lives during stuff like that? And it has been these types of experiences for me that we've had people who have allowed us to be a part of their days, have allowed us to be a part of life experiences they're going through, who are collectively with us being fans of the movies, and we get to share that together and that excitement and that joy. And yet at the same time, they let us be a part of their turmoil and their trouble at the same time. And I still don't know what to do with that, to be honest. I still don't know how to process that. I still don't know how to talk about it. But when you ask me the question, what do the fans of AMC and what we've done here mean to me? I don't even know how to say it. I just don't. I don't know how to say it. Except to say, I mean, I'm floored, but that doesn't even begin to cover it. What you guys have meant to me personally, and I know I speak for everybody on our team, what you guys have meant to us and me as we've gone down this journey together of just talking movies, but then getting to share each other's experiences has been incredible and life-changing and something I will never forget.
Oh my gosh. We're not supposed to get upset. You're still here for a couple more
That's
weeks,
right.
Okay?
Damn it.
All right, I'm going to hold this together for one last question. Andre Fernando Lee writes, what are your favorite memories? Hopefully, oh my gosh, I can hold it together some more. What are your favorite memories at doing AMC Movie News?
These are all be good things.
Okay.
I think there's a bunch of really cool things we've got to do here. And I mean, I really can't emphasize it enough that, you know, my philosophy on building teams is putting people around you that you trust. And it just meant the world to me when I was able to convince Dennis Zen to come on. I just don't think there's a finer mind in the business in this city. And I was just so thrilled when he came on. And that was a big early win. I remember when AMC said they were going to let us turn a converted storage closet into an actual little studio. You guys remember that? We had the white glass table and the red and black curtains behind us. We still have that space. That was like such a momentous occasion for us. I still remember when we threw our first AMC party at Comic-Con. It was great. And at that party, we had Stan Lee and Edgar Wright there, and we were presenting them with what was the inaugural AMC Fan Fanatic Awards to Stan Lee. I got to present at the Stan Lee. I should have actually had pictures ready because there were pictures of this. And that was just an incredible night. Our first junkets that we got to go and cover was a really big thing. And a couple other ones that really stand out to me. The 100 million view party was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just like 5 months ago. When we hit 100 million 100 million views of our YouTube channel, and we had that party. And I remember still thinking the night of the party, I didn't know if anybody was going to come. And then Ray and we had a car pick us up, and it's driving us into Hollywood to the Stream.TV studios where we had the party. And we saw a big crowd of people, our friends, like, oh, I wonder what's going on over there. And then when we realized as we got closer, it was people lined up down the streets and around the building and stuff like that for the AMC 100 million view party. And like me and Ray are in the backseat of this car, and we're just looking, it's like, what the hell? And we went in and we were just floored by. So the 100 million view party, huge. Obviously hitting the first time when we hit 100,000 subscribers was a big deal to us. That's a great memory. And we partied when that happened. Now we're about to hit 300,000 subscribers. The night a year and a half ago now that we won Best News Series at the Academy of Web Television Awards, which Dennis and I were so deathly sick.
Yeah.
We were so sick. He and I were out of AMC Movie News for like a month.
And even when we came back, it's like we were still dying sick. We were disgusting.
They're like 8 out of the 10 of us got like deathly ill. It hit Dennis and I so hard that I wasn't even on the show for a month. And Dennis was out of action for a long time. It was horrible. And then just 2 months ago, we won the Academy of Web Television again. We won for Best Live Series, which is a great memory. And one of the best, though, I think maybe my favorite is the night we did the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Mm-hmm. And we had Marvel president Kevin Feige, Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, and the star of the movie, Chris Pratt, all came into the studio and did that live event with us, talking of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But, I mean, there are so many great memories I have of the things that we've done here. And, yeah, those are just some of them that I'm pulling off the top of my head.
Okay.
What's your favorite memory of stuff that we've done here at AMC since you've been here?
Oh my gosh. Well, of course, the 100 million views party. I had so much fun that night. All of you guys that showed up were so freaking awesome.
You were so drunk.
No, I was not.
Totally
no,
kidding.
I was
I'm
not.
Totally lying.
I have a good time, sans alcohol. All right. That was really, really fun. I think one of my standout memories, mostly because it was horrifically embarrassing, was my very first day where I came into audition for you. And there was this lovely girl sitting outside and she was like, "Oh, are you here for the audition?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for the audition." And we start talking because you were taking a little bit of time. And I'm going on and telling her about how I just got back from Las Vegas celebrating my friend's 21st birthday. And I was just getting wasted and I was like falling all over the place. I was like, I don't even know if I'm hungover right now. And then you come and I go audition for you. And the next morning when I came in for like a test run, I get this email. And it's a picture of the girl that I was talking to. And she's like, "Just wishing you some good luck, girl. Like sending good vibes your way." Signed, Amy Rose Eisenbach. I wanted to go crawl into a hole, but there have been like so many good memories here. But you are not gone yet, all right?
I'm not gone yet.
You are not gone yet. So everyone hold your tears back. And thanks so much for joining us today. And just a reminder, lots of great movies being shown in AMC theaters today. So go ahead and head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theaters, your show times, and your ticket information. And if you want a podcast version of this episode, check out the description box below and make sure to click the subscribe button. Thanks to Dennis and Jonathan, and thanks to John. John, where can people find you online?
You can find me on all the various social media aspects, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or following me on Twitter, all at John Campea.
And you guys can find me at Ashley Mova on Twitter and Instagram. And this guy's not going anywhere quite yet. So join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of AMC Movie Talk, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.